What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to show the Acty a little bit of love. It's been about a year, so I'm going to change out the oil. Also, I was looking through the book that Jesus gave me and I realized he never changed out the spark plugs. Jesus is super meticulous about the maintenance on his vehicles, so it's really nice that he actually has a journal for each one, so this way I can go through and I can just look at all the stuff that he's done. Another thing that he gave me, which has been a huge lifesaver, is this service manual for the Acty. It's fantastic because that's how I was able to figure out which spark plugs to get. So if anyone's curious, you'll want to get NGK 2756. According to this service manual, there are other spark plugs that you can get, but the reason why I went with NGK is just the simple fact that they're plentiful and they're easy to get. I have never changed out the plugs on an Acty, so this is going to be a bit of a learning curve, but I don't think it should be too bad. Luckily, my interior is already stripped, so I can just pull out these carpets that I have. Now that I got the carpet out of the way, all I'm gonna have to do is loosen up these bolts, which are already loose because I was in here recently when I was showing the car when it was for sale, but obviously it's not for sale anymore. Or a van. In case anyone was curious about the size of the head on this, it's a 14 mil. Although with how old these vans are, or trucks, I wouldn't be surprised if they've gone missing and they're a different size. Here on this side, there's a little indent, so you can just lift it up and boom, right there is the engine. For those who have never seen an Acty engine, here's a good up close look of everything. It's so tiny. Ah, that's awesome. The next order of business is just going to be disconnecting the spark plug wires right here. So there's only 3 of them because it's a 3-cylinder engine. If I can get this out, there's 1, 2. These actually seem to be in really good shape. And then 3. In case anyone was curious, I would like to replace the spark plug wires and the distributor cap and everything like that. That's just part of routine maintenance, but I am working with a limited budget, so I'm just buying parts here and there as I have the funds available. All right guys, so I'm already running into problem number 1, and that's just using the socket. So obviously I need a special socket to take out the spark plugs, but there's the other thing of this is too small to reach all the way down there and let me unscrew it. My other extension is too long, so I need to go see if I have like a little wobbly connection to make it work. Well, I found a solution, and that is right here's the spark plug socket, an extension, one of these little, I don't even know what their technical name is, but I just call them the little wobbly sockets. I know that's not right. And then another extension with that. I should be able to easily get it out. I know some of you guys may be curious, so here's just a little side by side. So this is one of the new spark plugs, and then here are all the old ones. They're really fouled up, and then obviously they have oil over them because the valve covers are leaking. Needless to say, changing the spark plugs was the right call, but I also have more work cut out for me, which is no surprise. I plan on making the van my daily driver, so I kind of figured I was gonna have to do a lot of maintenance to get it there. And my biggest concern is the powertrain, so just doing things like the spark plugs, timing belt, changing out fluids. Little by little though, they'll get there. Well guys, now that it's time to put the spark plugs back in, they actually do give specific torque specs. What I always do is just hand tighten it, and that's actually what they even say here, a half turn to 2/3 of a turn. Doing it that way, I've never had any issues. Well guys, the spark plugs are changed, they're good to go. So the next thing we're gonna end up doing is changing out the oil. So I got some synthetic 5W30. According to the owner's manual, you either want to run 5W30 or 1030. It kind of just depends on your conditions. And for the oil filter, I'm gonna run the Napa 1358. The reason I'm running this one is just because it was easy to get, and when Jesus and I did the oil change a year ago, that's what we ended up using. I will say though, if you were to Google like Napa 1358 cross-reference oil filter, there's actually a website that will pull up and it will give you like 100+ alternatives to this oil filter. So that just means that if you're not able to get your hands on this one, you'll be able to find a suitable alternative. Now for the actual oil change process, you're going to want to come to the back of the Acty. Now that we're at the back side, you're going to want to come underneath the van or truck. I apologize, the lighting kind of sucks, but anyways, you're going to want to look for this bolt right here. You're going to loosen it up. This is a 17 mil bolt. Oh wow. I've pretty much emptied out all the engine oil, so I'm gonna put this back. Pretty much my only complaint about this is that I forgot to get a new crush washer for the drain plug, so I'm just gonna reuse the old one. It's not really ideal, but it's honestly not the biggest deal in the world. I'll just have to remember that next time. And she's good to go. So now if you come to the passenger side door and then you get underneath, that actually gives you pretty easy access to the oil filter. So as we come underneath, we're gonna see the radiators right here. And then if you come right back here, you're gonna see the oil filter right there. Oh. Well guys, I can tell you that oil is disgusting, which is pretty surprising because it wasn't even in there for 1,000 kilometers. In order to fill the engine with oil, you're gonna have to lift the hatch. If you have a van, I guess if you have a truck, you'd probably want to pull down the tailgate, although I don't know for certain because I've never had an Acty truck. But anyways, you pull this, that pops out, then there's a little lid. According to the owner's manual, it takes about 3 liters of engine oil. That's including the capacity for the oil filter. On the Actys, it's actually kind of nifty. So if you come back here, this is the rear passenger side wheel, and you kind of just feel around. I don't know how well it picks up on camera, but right here is the dipstick. It actually unscrews. Alrighty. Right here is the dipstick, which is just the cutest little thing ever. Oh, she's right up all the way. She's at the very top of the full. It's kind of hard to see because the engine oil is clear, but yeah. Well guys, now we're on to the exciting part, and that's actually starting her up. And I know it's just an oil change and spark plugs. I don't really get to drive her as much as I would like right now, just because I'm in the process of, you know, bringing her up to spec so I can start daily driving her. Yeah, I just really adore this little van. She's running good. You know guys, this little van really does have a charm of its own, and it makes me think that maybe down the road, just maybe, I might, you know, pull the engine, pull off the head, go through the valve seals and make it like run even better. I mean, cause like this thing is actually pretty high mileage for a K car. I think it's at 180,000 kilometers. So it's definitely on the higher side from what I've seen. The last thing that's left for me to do is actually put the lid back on. For the record, there is a right way to put this, and you can easily tell because one side is flat or straight. This other side has some curvature to it, so it's pretty hard to put it on the wrong way. She goes right in place. In terms of these bolts, I'm just gonna put them back in hand tight, mainly because I'm gonna be back in here doing more work. I ordered the engine mount, so hopefully that's here eventually. Honestly, things take forever to ship over. Well everyone, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.